When Dateline Houston continues, it is a string of events that may catch the attention of researchers around the world.
Now, back to Dateline Houston. Here's Linda Lowell.
We continue our story of 3 lives brought together by a mysterious drug, the mother who steals it, the man who fights in court to take it, and the doctor who brings them all together by creating it.
What parent wouldn't want their child, to not have to suffer like people with AIDS will suffer? It's not it.
Hello there, Bobby.
The search for that relief led Rocky Thomas all the way to Tulsa, Oklahoma, and the doorstep of Dr. Gary Davis, a family practitioner with a medical degree from Dartmouth.
I want something done about AIDS, and I want something to help my patients. And I want it done now.
That's what Dr. Davis told us last year when we broke the story of his controversial AIDS treatment that comes from, of all things, a goat.
You know this as anti-venom.
Antibodies from a horse given to a person to neutralize a snake bite.
In this case, we take the antibodies from a goat that have been immunized with the virus. We give you the antibodies made in the goat to kill the virus.
This story of Dr. Davis and his goat serum traveled across the country to Rocky in Maryland, where she also saw pictures of an AIDS patient in Africa, whose physician developed the goat serum based on Dr. Davis's procedures. The man's family says he went from his deathbed to being well enough to work and had no side effects. From that moment on, Rocky had only one thing on her mind.
I just was going to see the goat doctor. I kept saying I'm going to see the goat doctor.
There was just one problem. The goat doctor's treatment was not approved by the Food and Drug Administration. Dr. Davis has spent 2 years trying to get approval for a Phase 1 clinical trial. At one point, he actually received the go-ahead. But 6 hours before the first patient was to be injected, FDA investigators had more questions. And they say until they get the answers, Dr. Davis and his goat serum are on clinical hold. But that didn't stop Rocky from going to Tulsa to meet Dr. Davis.
She made me want to learn about the procedure, what a neutralizing antibody was, and how do you give this particular serum, and what are the side effects. I've had 100 people, thousands, ask me the same thing.
He told me all the proper channels to go. I called FDA. I talked to Press's attorney. But by me going through all the proper channels, Press was still getting sick.
What did you do?
I took the goat serum. I took it, and with the knowledge that I had, I did what I had to do with it.
You took it without the doctor's knowledge?
Yes.
What did you do with it after you took it?
I gave some to Precious.
And what were the results of that?
The results of that was, before we came home, she was bouncing off the walls, jumping around. It was just like she had made the 360-degree turn.
How long did it take before you saw a change in her?
A day.
Did she suffer any side effects that you could see when she was taking this drug?
No.
None at all?
No.
No fevers? No chills?
No.
No thrush mouth? No headaches?
No.
Nausea?
No.
Vomiting?
She's doing fine.
So what does goat serum look like anyway? Well, it looks like this. A clear liquid that is first frozen and then thawed to room temperature when ready to use. Rocky says she gave Precious 7 doses. During this time that she was taking the goat serum, she was also being monitored by the doctors at NIH, wasn't she?
Yeah.
Records at the National Institutes of Health show Precious's HIV levels dropped from 186,000 to 0 in just 4 months. Rocky couldn't wait to call Dr. Davis.
She said, Precious is doing great. I said, well, good. Well, I said, what you doing? And she said, well, I gave Precious the serum. And I went, what serum? And she had given her the antibodies. I didn't know she had it.
Why didn't you report this to the authorities?
I understand her position. I don't agree with the methodology, but I do understand she wants to try to save her daughter's life. I do understand that if she went to Dr. Kevorkian and he said, here's the medicine that you can use to kill yourself, go kill yourself, that you have a right to die. And here's a person saying, I want the right to live. And we got a problem with that. Might as well be on death row.
A needle prick by a drug-crazed man 10 years ago infected Bob Cowan with HIV.
There they go.
Now he has AIDS and wants desperately to try the goat serum. What about the other drugs that are out there on the market that are approved?
I can't take them.
Why not?
They had such adverse and devastating effects on me, they almost killed me.
So Cowan asked the FDA for an emergency waiver, but was denied. Then he filed a restraining order, and that was denied. Now in court for a third time, he's still trying to force the FDA to let him take the goat serum. And he's still waiting.
I'm pretty passive. I haven't yelled and screamed a lot, but if I have to, I'll scream from the highest mountaintop. Get out of my way and let me get well.
The FDA cannot comment on any of this because of confidentiality and the pending litigation. But it's important to note, here in Rockville, Maryland, the FDA has taken steps to speed up the drug approval process, especially when there's evidence of a major advancement in medical treatment. After the clinical trials were completed, some HIV drugs made it on the market last year in just under 3 months.
Sometimes feel like
Dr. Davis admits there are problems with his application, and he's taken steps to correct them. But he stresses some patients simply don't have time to wait for the FDA's lengthy process of approving new drugs.
If they're concerned about this, they need to sit down and talk to me, and I'll say, you take over the wheel. Let an independent group do it. Do it.
But you're just saying, look at this.
Look at this. Yes, as an alternative to help the patients that are dying from AIDS. What's the problem?
That's what Rocky wanted to know. But instead of waiting for an answer, she took action that could land her behind bars.
Are you having second thoughts? No. About any of it? No.
I am not poison, danger, death, or disease. I am a friend when life better ease. He is she, and she is he, and we are us. So don't stand there and look at disgust. Who am I, you dare to say? The lion me, still alive as can be.
Rocky tells us Precious continues to do well. A second